Last night, she abruptly resigned as the host of the show. And to say that I'm quite sad about it is an understatement. Molly is a friend. Molly is a coworker. Molly is somebody that I have leaned on many occasions in the past, as she has done when it comes to me. We've been partners on the show for the last 10 years. And a lot of times some of these things happen and it's just uncomfortable to see. The details, quite frankly, are none of y'all business. But it's not as if I know all the details. It was a contract negotiation that was going on. ESPN certainly did not want to lose her.
Here is what Stephen A. Smith said on Molly Qerim's sudden exit.
But we all make decisions that we deem to be in our best interest for whatever reason. And that story is for her to tell. Do I have an idea? Of course I do. Am I going to share it with you? No. Because again, that's her story to tell. But I do think it's important that I started off the show by just acknowledging my love and appreciation for her and what she's meant to me and what she's meant to the show. I just wanted to wish her the best, let her know the love is always here from myself, from my personal assistant and my right hand, Sumatra, to my security, Juvie, and my sister Carmen, and so many people that have loved her and loved on her over the years. We've got nothing but love for her.
Many folks spoke on it, including...
This is a thankless job being a moderator. I know a lot of people who've sat in that same position on different shows, that show, and this, trust me, is a thankless position. It's hard to see somebody raise their hand and keep it up high for this long. I'm actually thoroughly surprised that Molly Qerim made it this long in that position. But just imagine all this time and you're in that position. And then you get to the position where you're in another contract negotiation. You're not hearing what you want to hear. You're not hearing it not only in the money, but in also they're talking funny in terms of giving you greater role. And you're like, it's time to move on. Imagine you're in that moment. What will make you, a report comes out after you do a Monday show, not show up for work on Tuesday?
Former ESPN and Fox Sports host Marcellus Wiley.
I'm not surprised. I'm only surprised at the timing. I'm surprised that she didn't just tap out over the weekend and they make no mention of it and they land that plane a lot softer than they did. This was an abrupt landing. This is an emergency exit. This is an emergency landing. This is one of those for a reason. I give you what a therapist told me. Therapist told me it's not just how things end, it's why are they ending that way.
The report said she turned down a contract, which means that she had probably seen all that she wanted to see at the, at that network. Mind you, she has been with ESPN for 20 years. 20 years. If you do anything, or if you work for any company for 20 years, maybe after some time, maybe you'll get tired. Maybe you want to do something else. I don't know how much money Molly made. I'm sure she made very good money working on TV and working at that network. So maybe she has enough money saved or whatever it is or whatever. I don't know her financial situation, and I'm not going to be pocket watching the pocketbook of a lady, God forbid. But I'm sure she's done very well for herself. And maybe it was just a time for her to move on. People after a while, people have other interests. They decide to do other things. And I think it's perfectly normal.
Dreamers Pro Show, who covers a ton of sports media news as well.
The obvious take is that whatever happened is it wasn't amicable. This is not them parting on good terms. I think you look at the way it was reported by Austin Karp at Sports Business Journal on Monday night, and it comes out that, she's going to be done at the end of the year, which is pretty early, I would say, in these type of negotiations to make that sort of judgment when you're still 3 months out. But sometimes that happens. Sometimes both sides realize they're at the end, and they've reached kind of a stalemate, and they both decide to go their separate ways. But then you turn on First Take today, and Stephen A. Smith is opening it up, and he's bidding farewell to Molly. And it's clear that she's done for good. Like, this is it for her. I think it just speaks to the idea that whatever happened was not amicable, and that they are not parting on seemingly very pleasant terms at this moment.
Yeah, I think that was clear to me too. It's like Stephen A. put on his apology voice, whenever he gets into a scandal that he has to monologue an apology for. That was the same type of voice he was using at the top of today's show.
Along with the dudes at Awful Announcing. Here's where it just gets really, really weird. On Monday, Sports Business Journal's Austin Karp reported Qerim, who has hosted First Take for a decade, would be leaving the network at the end of the year after declining a contract extension. The Inquirer's Rob Torno continues in his piece. Qerim later confirmed the news in an Instagram post that came on her story, by the way, noting the news came out earlier than I intended and not in the way I hoped, but instead of sticking with First Take and offering her goodbyes on the air, she no-showed on Tuesday. Instead, Stephen A. broke the news. When that news broke, Qerim did take to IG, and here's what she wrote on her story. Now that the news came out earlier than I intended, and not in the way I hoped, to my First Take family, after much reflection, I've decided it's time to close this incredible chapter and step away from First Take. Hosting this show has been one of the greatest honors of my career. Every morning, I had the privilege of sharing the desk with some of the most brilliant, passionate, and entertaining voices in sports, and with all of you, the best fans in the world. I'm so grateful for what this journey has given me. Lifelong friendships, unforgettable memories, and the chance to be part of something truly special. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for welcoming me into your homes. Stay tuned, smiley face. With love and gratitude, Molly. Burke Magnus, ESPN's president of content, wrote in a statement, Molly has been an integral part of ESPN since 2006 and a key driver of First Take's success since joining as host a decade ago. She elevated the show with her poise, skill, and professionalism while supporting others as a kind and encouraging teammate. We respect Molly's decision, wish her the best in the future, and thank her for her extraordinary daily commitment to sports fans and ESPN. Ben Koo, the owner of AwfulAnnouncing.com, would give his 2 cents. Conjecture. Leaving with months left on a contract during football season, and after doing a Monday show, no send-off episode, she'll have to stay quiet to keep getting paid through the end of the year, but this certainly has a lot of smoke that the relationship went south. In the end, I will say this. The saying goes, where there's smoke, there's fire. This just doesn't add up, honestly. With them saying, hey, we're leaking that Molly Qerim is going to be done at the network at the end of the year. She feels like she was railroaded by potentially not announcing that news by herself or what have you, not totally sure. But I'm just confused because then she puts out on her Instagram story that she's leaving, and it feels like potentially she left the crew out to dry. And I'm saying potentially because I don't have confirmation, but it just feels odd, man. And whatever she chooses to do, she will be successful, because when you are in that orbit, you're always going to have some motion and some momentum when you finally do have your next venture. I don't know what that will be. I'm guessing by the way that this industry is going, she's going to launch her own podcast or, launch her podcast and then do some other freelance work on the side to keep her name out there. And she's going to get a bag because people are going to want to know about ESPN stuff. They're going to want to know why she left. My guess is that she wanted a larger role or it was over money, and she is entitled to take her career in whatever trajectory that she wishes. So I'm telling you, it just feels weird. There are a lot of red flags as I went through this story. So TBD. We will have to wait and see, but I'm telling you, like Max Kellerman, it is going to be some time before we get any news, at least on the Molly Qerim front. We've heard from Stephen A. We will not hear from Molly for quite some time. Hey, I appreciate you watching. Now, if you can, please do become a channel member by going to youtube.com/TYT Sports and clicking the join button. If that's too much for you, you can just go to tyt.com/join to become a member. It helps all of us out here at the Young Turks and keeps our network afloat. In addition, you could follow me on my socials on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate the love. Have a great day.